fellow diamond painting addicts, and welcome back to Diamond Painting Anonymous. I'm Daphne, and I'm here for this week's WIP and Chat. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. WIP, W-I-P, stands for Work in Progress, and this is mine. You are welcome and encouraged to go grab whatever you are working on and work alongside while I chat, or alternatively, you can treat this as a podcast and just listen while I chat. I wanted to be done with this one because we're now officially into February and I wanted to finish this one in January, so didn't make it, but that's okay. I only have 2 sections left, so let me zoom into where I'm going to be working and I will be right back. All right, I've got my timer started. I've got everything set up. I think I'm good to go. And of course, as soon as I sit down to start filming, I hear a plane flying by outside, which is equal parts annoying and kind of comforting. Annoying because, of course, as soon as I start filming, something's out making noise. Had to wait until the fam was gone or quiet. Wait until the washing machine was done running. I swear, here in the rental, we have it's a combo washer dryer. And while I am appreciative that we have a washer dryer in the rental so that I don't have to go to the laundromat, it only does very small loads and it takes forever because you run a wash and dry cycle. So instead of an hour and a half for a wash, and then you can start another wash load while you're drying, as I used to do, now I have to wait 4 hours for every load. So my typical weekly laundry that I could do in one afternoon now takes me 3 days. I swear the thing, no matter how many clothes I put in it, I try not to overload it because the drum is not very big. No matter how many clothes I put in it, it sounds like a jet engine trying to take off when it hits the spin cycle. I'm sure it's great in the summer when you can hang your clothes out on the clothesline to dry. That doesn't really work in the winter, I guess, unless I want frozen clothes, which I do not, so. Okay, I kind of just jumped into things without saying. Let me jump into my life update. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. You guys know that I wasn't feeling well the week before last. Had a little bit of a relapse earlier this week. I think I'm finally on the mend. Life's been a little bit crazy. So my exciting news, and everyone cross your fingers for us, we got the house. We have had the inspection. There are some things that we need to fix. Nothing major, but just a few things we need to fix. However, we won't be closing for another couple of months, which is fine. That whole, oh my gosh, we got to find something before our rental runs out panic is now gone. But just the logistics of everything, how the process works here is in some ways different from how it works in the States. And I feel like I'm having to just kind of take some things on faith, which I don't know that I wouldn't be doing that in the States as well, but I don't know, I think it's just that little bit scarier because it's all happening here in a place that I'm not familiar with. And I guess the process hasn't been too dissimilar. I mean, we basically went to a realtor, looked at a bunch of different houses, decided on the one we wanted, and then there was a bit of back and forth. The house had been on the market for a while, and of course, it's one of those things. The seller is trying to make as much money as they can. The buyers, which were us this time, are trying to get it for as little as they can. It's a nice house. It's a house that I walked in and immediately thought, oh, I could live here. It has the wood stove that I wanted. It looks almost brand new. It's only a couple of years old. It has some things I'm not used to. One of the things that is a thing here in Canada that I've never really run into in America, and I know they have them in certain places in the States, just not a regular thing where I lived, and that is a whole house vacuum, which of course gets left because it's attached to the house, but I've just never had one before, so it'll be interesting to see if I like it or not, or if I end up just going back to a traditional vacuum. It's got more space. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, so it's quite a bit smaller, which we were looking to downsize. But I will also confess to being spoiled. I don't think I've lived in a house that didn't have 2 bathrooms since I was maybe 5th grade. However, it's a very nice, very updated spa-like bathroom. Nice big tub, which I probably will rarely use, but my son likes taking baths, so I'm sure he'll use it. Huge shower, and it has something I've never had before, which is in-floor heating in the bathroom. So I'm sure that will be nice on those very cold winter mornings when we're all trying to get ready to go somewhere for the day. Hubby and I have been talking about all the things that we're going to need to do once the house is ours, assuming nothing goes wrong between now and then, so cross your fingers for us. It has a view of the water. We're not going to be super close to the water like we are in the cottage, but we can see the water from where we are, so that will be nice. And all the houses that are already between us and the water have been built. All the property's been taken, so nobody's going to come in and obstruct our view. So that was good to know as well. We do have plans to make some updates. Like I said, there's a few things that we need to get taken care of pretty quickly. Nothing major. But we do also have some long-term plans for it. There is, well, they call it a shed. It's not big enough to park a car in. Well, the part that the person we're buying it from was parking his lawnmower there. It's big enough for a lawnmower, but it wasn't big enough for a car. However, there is a second piece to it that's divided by a big wall, and it has a very, very tall ceiling, and we would like to turn that into some kind of studio apartment / tiny house. The realtor was telling us we could easily turn it into an Airbnb rental. I don't know if I'm interested in doing that, but having a space maybe that my youngest could live in and still be close, or that we could have available to family when they came for a visit, a place for my daughter to sleep if she comes for a visit, whatever. Down the road, it does not have a garage, which was something I wanted. So we're discussing what we're going to do for a garage. This winter so far has been pretty mild, and hubby has discovered that the car we bought for my son and I actually comes with a block heater built in. His car does not have one, however, so if it gets too much colder, we may need to invest in one of those for his car. Right now it's not a big deal while nobody's driving anywhere, but like I said, if and when any or all of us go back to work, then we need it to start reliably. So a garage is on the agenda as well. So yeah, just lots of things kind of floating in the air, things that we need to do. But like I said, after a bit of back and forth, after the inspection and finding out some things that we had to do, a little bit more back and forth, and we finally came to an agreement. So hopefully, and I'm so excited. I've enjoyed the rental. I don't want to make it sound like I haven't enjoyed the rental, and it's been really nice. Everything is all included, so basically we pay rent and that's it. We've not had to worry about water, trash, electricity, any of that. So that part of it has been nice. So we'll see how that feels when we suddenly have to start paying our own bills and get all set up for that. And we'll likely have to pay deposits for most of the utilities because none of us have a history here. Well, my husband does, but it's been decades since he lived here, so I'm going to assume that's no longer relevant. But I'm looking forward to getting moved. I think that'll help it make it feel more permanent, I guess. I think it's just felt temporary, maybe because we knew we were only temporarily staying here. Maybe if we had signed a actual like a year lease and we had our own furniture, it was like an unfurnished apartment or whatever, maybe it would have felt different. I don't know. Maybe not. I told my husband I think it's that I can hear my mom's voice in the back of my head because none of us are working right now. That whole, I should be doing something productive, I should be looking for a job, but until we get everything settled, we get all of the stuff done that we needed to do. Like, I don't know. It was stressful enough doing all of the things that we needed to do, importing the vehicles, getting them tagged, taking care of all of the kind of bureaucracy stuff, and being able to just take off and go do it when we could and go during the day when it wasn't as busy, things like that. Like if we were working regular 9-to-5s, I don't know how. Here, I just got this job, but I need to take all this time off to go take care of all of this stuff. Because unfortunately, some of it he had to be there for, some of it I had to be there for, some of it my son had to be there for. So it's actually, I think, worked out well that none of us were working. Although, as I keep reminding myself and my husband, can't do that forever. Our savings are not going to last forever. But once we move into the house and we have a permanent address and stuff like that, I think that'll make it feel more real. I think. I don't know. I told my husband I think that because this was temporary, I don't know if that's the reason or something else, but it just made it feel still a little surreal, like it wasn't really happening. I don't know if that makes sense, but, or at least like it was temporary, and maybe in a few weeks we'd be done with vacation and just heading back home like we always have. Although now that I know that a lot of people rent out homes like the one that we're staying in for short-term leases, I wish we would have known that on some of our visits. We haven't really visited in the summer. It's always been in the fall or winter previously when we were making trips up here, and we always just stayed in a hotel. It never occurred to either one of us, I don't think, to try and find someplace like this where we could stay and have access to a kitchen so we could cook our own food, and a place where you didn't have to feel like you needed to pack away your valuables every day before housekeeping came in, that sort of thing. Which I guess maybe it should have. We've never done an Airbnb before. This isn't really an Airbnb, but same sort of idea, I guess. And it really wouldn't have been that much more than we were paying to stay in a hotel. Less amenities, but for us, that would have been a good thing. I would rather have less amenities and less people than more amenities and more people, which probably puts me in the minority, but that's okay. So thank you to everyone who put good vibes out there for us on the house. Everything is going swimmingly so far, knock on wood. Nothing else goes wrong during the process, and the rest of it goes smoothly. And before our lease is up here, we are able to move into it. I'm getting down to the last two sections of this, and some of these colors I'm getting close to running out of, so we'll see. But I'm so excited to almost be done with this one. I got so far behind, not only because I wasn't feeling well, but also looking for the house and driving around and looking at houses and spending a bunch of time on the internet looking at houses ourselves before we went to see them with the realtor, that sort of thing. It's kind of like buying a car. You don't realize how many cars like the vehicle you're buying are on the road until you get it, and then suddenly you see that vehicle everywhere. And really, the amount of vehicles is the same. It's just that you didn't pay much attention to them before, right? I gotta say, we finally got the remote start installed on the new To Us vehicle. Hubby was telling himself it was mostly for me. We needed to get it for me. He loves it. He drives that car way more than he drives his car because he can just click a button, and then when he goes to get in it, it's warm, which is a nice perk when it's below 0 outside, Fahrenheit and Celsius. It is windy today. We were looking out the window early this morning. It's cold enough that There's ice out on the water. It gets pushed up onto the shore, so that makes it interesting when my son and I go for walks in the morning. But there's an area near us where the water is now frozen enough that somebody's put their little fishing shack out on it. I don't know that I'm comfortable enough to trust walking out on the ice like that. I feel like I'd be the unlucky person who steps somewhere I shouldn't and then it cracks and I fall through and drown. And they had their little shack out there, and it was pretty cold and the water frozen that you could see. And then the very next day it was like super warm. And so I'm talking to my husband and going, oh no, has it ever happened that anybody's had like their little fishing shack fall through the ice into the water? And where they have it, the water is not very deep, but still, I'm sure you don't want your little ice shack falling through. And he said, oh yeah, of course, my husband is one that he actually almost lost his snowmobile in the water once, so he doesn't have any room to talk. It's been much colder the last couple of days, and we've seen whoever it is out there putting ice around the bottom of it, or putting snow around the bottom of it to kind of berm it up at the bottom. And they've got like a little propane tank sitting on the outside of it by the door. I'm assuming that's what they use to heat up the inside of it. And there's an area around here that usually by now, he said, would be covered with little ice fishing shacks, but it's been a pretty mild winter for here. Not a ton of snow and not as cold as usual, I guess. So not as many of them are out as would normally be. I don't like fishing personally, so I don't know that I'd be interested in sitting inside a freezing cold fishing shack to catch fish through a little hole in the ice. Although I have seen pictures on the internet of people who have some pretty fancy little fishing shacks, so somehow get electricity out there so they can have a TV that they watch and go out there and watch football and drink beer while they fish and sit inside the little shack. Not my idea of a good time, but I can see how it would be appealing to other people. I just never got the hang of fishing. My grandfather used to go quite a bit, tried to teach us, but I don't like wriggly things, and putting worms on hooks was not my idea of a good time. So I didn't last long in fishing, which is okay. I'm not really a very outdoorsy type of person. I don't like camping, don't like fishing. I was a Girl Scout when I was younger, and we used to go to Girl Scout camp every summer. Mostly, I think, to give my mom a break. That was a week during the summer that my sister and I were both gone. She still had my brother at home, but he was younger than us, so. I also had asthma as a kid, so it was a pretty miserable week. I had medicine that I had to take, but being hot and sweaty and outside with a bunch of bugs, not my idea of a good time, so that didn't last too long. But it's been very interesting to just be this close to the water, and because it's so much colder here, things that I just don't have any experience with, like the ice shacks and that sort of thing. Everyone keeps telling me it's not cold here yet. It's plenty cold for me. We'll see as the rest of the winter progresses. Although we're into February now, so I told my husband, I don't really expect that all this snow they keep telling me that's going to show up is actually going to show up. I could be wrong. We could still get some winter storms, but his family has regaled me in the past with stories about snow drifts on, or snowbanks on either side of the road that would be taller than me, where they've plowed the road so that people can get through. Haven't seen anything like that. I don't think it's snowed more than maybe 4 inches at once since we've been here, which admittedly is not a very long time, but I can only go with what I've experienced so far, right? That's another thing I'm looking forward to when we move into the house. It has a ton more storage space and closet space, which I am dying for because there are neither of those things here at the rental. I think that's all I wanted to tell you for my regular life. I'm sure I'll probably think of something and I'll just shove it in randomly when I'm talking about diamond painting stuff, but it wouldn't be me if it was not rambling, right? If I had it all together, even though I make notes, some weeks better notes than others, but I do make notes so that I sort of stay on track. Doesn't always help. Sometimes my brain just, I'm on a tangent. So what's going on in my diamond painting life? Not as much as I would like. Again, I'm actually just realizing I need to make a video about how I did in January for my goals, which is going to be kind of sad because I really didn't do a whole lot. I didn't finish, I finished the temperature blanket kit, but most of that work was done last year. So I guess it's not a complete loss because I will have the hours from that to count. And I did actually get a frame for that one. If I remember to take a pic of it, I'll throw it up there. The frame doesn't fit exactly, but I wanted it to show the whole canvas because it lists the months and everything, the year that it's for. But I'm happy with it, and it will be something nice that I can hang up in the new house. That'll be a nice little reminder of our journey and travels up here. So I do have that. But I really didn't buy much. I bought the one kit from Captured by Radiance that I showed you guys, the little enchanted dream fairy that I bought. I really haven't purchased much else as of yet. I keep meaning to, and then we got sidetracked with all kinds of things. So the goals update is probably going to be a little rough for me. I'm going to not have made all the goals that I wanted to, but that just hopefully will motivate me to do better over the next couple of months, right? February is a short month, so I will need to get my rear in gear. I do have some smaller projects planned for February, so hopefully, like I said, February's goals will be less disappointing than January's are probably going to turn out to be. And I will have this one done soon, so this will be a finish for February as well. And that means I can concentrate on some other things since I decided that I was going to do one spangler a quarter. This will be my spangler for the quarter, and then I can move on to some other projects without feeling guilty and that I need to work on the other spanglers. I need to prep for the projects I want to do in February. Some of them I've already prepped and are ready to go, but I'm sure there will probably be some more as I go through the month that I decide, oh, you know what, I want to do this one too, or I want to do this one instead, like I did with the Goofy. I think he will be a good one to start February with, just because that one will be so quick that it will be an easy win. That will give me some motivation to keep working on all the other kits I have planned. It is super windy out there today. That's been nice too, to just kind of be holed up in the rental while it's windy and blustery outside. So speaking of other projects, what are you guys prepping for February? I've been looking for other things, not just diamond painting kits, but accessories and things as well. But I did see that Orloa is now selling some mini kits. I guess everybody's getting into the little mini kit game. They were cute. I don't know if I want to purchase them. It is nice to have some little kits like that, but I don't know if I'm getting pickier in my old diamond painting age. I've done this for long enough now that it's like, do I want to buy that just to try it? Or do I want to go with some things that I know are tried and true? Like, I really like the variety that Paint Gem has in their mini kits, but their drill quality leaves a little to be desired, in my opinion. I liked the quality of the Make Market ones, but they're round instead of square. I did like the Diamond Art Club ones, especially because I had so many leftover fairy dust drills from it. I don't know if they all came with that many fairy dust. I got the 50s diner food kit and it was all fairy dust drills, so I had lots left over. I'm still using some of them. In fact, some of them got used in this particular kit to get them all used up, but I know Bella Art has some mini kits, and now Orloa. I also saw that Diamond Dots now has some, I forget what they're calling them. I think it said ready to hang. So basically like those ones that are on like an art canvas stretched over, the canvas itself is like on stretcher bars. So you diamond paint on it and then it's just ready to hang. Like you could put it in a frame if you want, but has anybody done one of those? I know Diamond Art Club had some smaller ones of those, but I think the Diamond Dots ones were a little bit bigger size. Again, haven't purchased one myself, but was curious. I still would like to get one of Diamond Dots's masterclass kits, those ones that are like a couple $100 and have the little mini drills as well as the regular size ones on some of them. And they're just like bigger. I like Diamond Dots, but I've only ever done their round drill kits. I really like their round drills. Their drills are not hardly trashy, at least in my experience they haven't been. Even though the way that they number their things is annoying, I almost always keep the ABs, even if they are a little bit taller, because I can use them in other projects. But they're just so expensive, I haven't purchased one. And I've never done any of their squares. I don't know what the quality of their squares is like. Squares are a big commitment for me. They just take a while. I want to make sure that it's going to be a good quality one. I think that's why I've been avoiding some of these older kits. Even though they're licensed diamond paintings, there's just been improvements made over the years, obviously. So some of these, like this kit in particular, are just old enough that even though it's a premium company, it's licensed art, all that stuff, the newer drills are just better. They fit together better, they're nicer, they're less trashy. This kit in particular has a lot of dark colored drills, and I've had way more trash than I would like. But it's a cute diamond painting and I'm enjoying it, so. And it has to get done sometime, right? I can't just let it sit around forever. I wonder sometimes some of the bigger YouTubers that get a lot of free sneak peeks and everything, how long they hang on to them before they decide they're not going to do that particular kit. Because I'm assuming the sneak peeks are like most sneak peeks in that you don't always get a say. I mean, the company might give you a, here's 5 kits, pick 3, and we'll send you one of the 3 you picked. But the one they send you might be your 3rd pick, right? So how long do you let it sit around in your stash before you decide, you know what, I'm probably never going to do this kit, so I'm going to de-stash it, I'm going to give it away, I'm going to donate it, I'm going to whatever with it. Because I know there are people out there who have way bigger stashes than mine. And if you like having a big stash, again, no shame. You do you. If having a big stash makes you happy that you have all those kits to pick from, go for it. I just have kind of always been of the opinion that, well, of course my opinion changed. My first year and a half of diamond painting, I bought everything that wasn't stapled down because, oh my gosh, it's only here for this week. If I don't get it now, I'm never going to be able to get it again. I knew nothing about restocks. I knew nothing about de-stashes, secondhand market, none of that. So I bought into a bunch of the hype and I just went overboard. And I'm still trying to work my way through some of these kits. One of which is these. This is a kit that I bought clear back in 2021. Because I just picked up diamond painting the summer of 2020. So this was one of the kits I bought. I was familiar with Spangler and his work, and it was a bit of nostalgia. And I think at one time I had 11 different kits of his. Way too many. And I have since either done them or donated them or given them away because I certainly didn't need 11 of them. So now I'm just a bit pickier, I guess, in what I want to buy and what I want to hang on to. I don't think I'm going to do an official kind of detox like Lizette, but I do think just for my own sanity, I need to get my stash down to a more psychologically manageable level than me. And maybe once we move and I have a dedicated space for crafting and filming and diamond painting, then maybe I won't feel as much pressure to get some of it done, but we'll see. Life moves in mysterious ways. Things may change. If I decide to go back to work, that will obviously affect how much diamond painting time I have. So that might make a difference as well. Hard to know. I don't know if I'm becoming more philosophical just in the short time that we've been here. I know I have said many, many times that I am not a patient person, and I find the universe often sends along lessons for me to try and teach me patience. And this has definitely been one of them, because nothing happens quickly here. It is a whole different mindset when it comes to certain things. So that's been interesting. Anyway, I'm getting off track again. So I talked about the mini kits and the Diamond Dots ready to hang kits. Also, I saw Art Dot has some new trays. Has anybody tried these new trays? I saw them, but we were just busy doing other things, so I didn't get any of them, but I'm curious. They're supposed to be anti-static trays, and they come with a lid. Has anybody tried them to see, are they really anti-static? Because if they were, that would be awesome. Like, supposedly you just pour your drills into the tray, close the lid, and then somehow magically they de-static the drills. I don't know if it actually works like that, but that's what they're advertising. So I was just curious if anybody had actually tried those. And I actually found another local store that sells diamond paintings. The store that I bought the Goofy from is actually like well, it's almost more like a gift shop. They have games and puzzles, and they also have diamond paintings. They also have a lot of like souvenir type stuff for the area that we're in, that sort of thing. But this other store is more like a discount, kind of like a dollar store, but not that inexpensive. But it's not like a craft store, if that makes sense. Hubby and I were in there kind of just wandering around while we were waiting on something else. And we saw the store, and I said, well, let's go in. I've never been in this store before. Wandering around, and they had a whole little section of little diamond paintings. And probably Chinese brand, nothing that I recognized. It wasn't like Diamond Dots or Leisure Arts or anything like that, but sort of the same vein. Most of them were partials. They did have a couple of full drill ones, most round, some square, and they didn't look too terrible, all fairly small. So 30 by 30, 30 by 40. They had a couple of the full drill ones that were a little bigger than that, but not by much. I think I took some pictures. If I did, I will throw some of those up on the screen. Yeah, again, it just made me like, okay, so if for some reason something would happen and I wouldn't be able to order diamond paintings, I do have a couple of options at least locally, and probably more than that if we drove to a bigger city. Where we are now, there isn't really like a Michael's or a Joann's or a craft store like that. I have to drive to a nearby city to get that. There's one about an hour away, and there's another even bigger one about 3 hours away. A 3-hour drive isn't something I'd want to do just to go to a craft store, but it's a city that has some family in it. So if we ever decided to drive up there and go see family or whatever, then I probably would be able to talk my husband into spending the night and then doing a little bit of shopping while we're there. And this kit, this is actually one of the colors I've been worried about running out of. I think I won't now. I think this is actually the last little bit of black, but there was enough black that I put it in this very large container. And there has been so much trash. The black drills are so trashy. And as I was working my way this way, working on this last row, I got to a point where I was like, man, I mean, I have spare black drills, of course I do, but the thought that I would run out was like, man, it's just disappointing when that happens, regardless of who the company is, and regardless of whether or not I could contact the company and get extra drills or replacement drills or whatever I needed. Who wants to wait that long for everything to get shipped to you, right? Once you start the diamond painting, you want to finish it. I certainly don't want to have to find some place to store it for weeks until extra drills find their way to me. So let's hope that was the last of the black, because that's all the black drills I have left. Again, I have extras if I need them, but If you're a diamond painting company, you should know how many drills you need to include to accommodate that there may be trashy drills. I think this one took me a lot longer because it just ended up being a lot more confetti than I was expecting. I've enjoyed it, so it's all good. Okay, this is a little bit of a short whip and chat, but I think that's everything I wanted to tell you guys. So I'm making progress, like I said. Hopefully by the end of today, I will have this one finished. Won't count until the end of February, but that's okay. Such is life. Thanks so much for sticking around till the end of the video, guys. Before you leave, don't forget to do all the things. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification icon so that you can be informed of future uploads. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching.